Steve Houlihan of Benjamin F. Edwards is with us. Steve?
Good morning, Dan.
Okay, so my theme today is in the media, watching the news and going to their websites, it's all hysteria. And one of them is, oh my gosh, Scott Bessent, his rescue is flop, debt spiral danger, dollar at risk. And then I look at the stock market and the Dow's up 300. So it apparently hasn't worried. So, and you and I talk about this. We have our show once a month on Saturdays, the first Saturday of every month at 9. And I like to ask basic dumb guy questions. But a lot of people are invested in the market, in the 401ks and all that. And some baby boomers are watching it because, you know, some of them are at or near retirement, and so they're watching. But if you're diversified and you have long-term plans, it seems like what's in the financial news is fear-mongering and hysteria. You hear about the yield market and all this. When should we panic? When should we pay attention?
Well, and you nailed it, Danny, when you said long-term plans, and that's the key. When are you going to need your money? And are you going to need a lump sum? Are you going to need income? So that's, in terms of when should you panic, I say never, so long as you're properly diversified, you have money to get you through the I'll say the tough times, liquidity, cash, you have income, and you're not over your skis as far as your risk is concerned. You're willing to take on the amount of risk you're taking. If you're over your skis, meaning if you're staying up at night, worried at nights because your portfolio's swinging too high and too low, well, then you need to pull back the risk. You need to become more conservative. But if you're comfortable with the allocation, right now the market currently is in a neutral to greed zone, hovering a score of around 55 to 57. Now, understanding the zone, 0 to 24 is extreme fear, 25-49 fear, 50 to 74 neutral to greed. That's where we're at now. 75 to 100 extreme greed. And right now the zone, we're in 55 to 57, which again, to the listener, so what? Meaning the so what is, according to this breakdown, the zone, we're not in extreme greed at all. We're in the neutral to possibly greedy zone. So when to become fearful, when to become, as you said, freaked out, what have you. When I say never, clearly, we talked about this for many years, Danny. Fear and greed are the two emotions that drive the market, fear and greed. And as Warren Buffett said many times, when others are fearful, it's time to be greedy, and vice versa. In other words, you don't want to panic. You don't want to follow the herd. You don't want to let the media dictate, when to sell, when to buy, when to scare you out of the market. Danny, you remember as well as I do, 2008, we did the show then weekly. And for literally 14, 15 months, there was nothing positive to talk about back in 2008 during the financial crisis. Mm-hmm. It wasn't fun at all. But also it was a time to have a cool head, a cool hand, and not to sell into fear if you didn't need to sell, if you didn't have to get your hands on your money.
Well, a stat you always bring up, including the Depression, including the Great Recession, and including the 8 to 10 times where we've had market corrections, the Dow has averaged positive +9 all those years.
Correct. That's right. And again, and I don't have the statistics at my fingertips, but we talked about it before over a many-year period, missing the 5 best days, the 10 best days, the 15 best days. It's amazing, meaning time in the market versus timing the market is what I'm talking about. Once again, time in the market versus timing the market. It's amazing when you take a look at the stats, and if you miss the 5 best days, how much your return goes down. If you miss the 10 best days of a 20-year period, 30-year period, it's eye-opening, but it's meaningful, meaning to stay invested so long as you're properly diversified and you can handle the risk that your portfolio gives you.
And I've got Warren Buffett said this. Some of the other great long-term investors said that. How often should you check your portfolio? Once a year. If you check it twice a year, that's one time too many. And so,
I don't know about that, but again, there's a reason that the companies send out monthly statements. I'll say that.
So, okay, so right now there's a lot of panic. It's hard because it is our money. It's 401ks. It's hard for us not to get caught up in the news. How do we kind of temper it and keep a good mind?
Well, you're right. It is hard. It's hard not to get caught into the web, to get freaked out. And again, when you get scared is when you get your statement and you see your dollar value drop. You've lost money in your 401k and in your portfolio, your financial portfolio and your stocks and so forth. That's when it really hits home. And again, but month after month, when you begin to see, and we're not in that case now, but 2008 we certainly were, you have to look at it and think about the fact that you're buying cheaper, again, by reinvesting your dividends, by dollar cost averaging in your 401k. When the market goes down, yes, your portfolio is down, but in addition, those new dollars that you're putting in and buying, you're buying cheaper investments. So you look at the bright side of it as well, Dan.
Yeah, in 2008, I almost got out. If I did, I would have missed the 30 to 40% that had happened like in a few months, roarback. And I kept my money in, so when it was down, I'm like, well, I'm buying cheaper. So, yeah, it's hard to keep a cool head. Well, thanks, Steve.